Everything changed in a matter of seconds. You spend months, years even, meticulously constructing a championship-caliber roster. You draft with absolute precision. You trade with aggression. You negotiate in the shadows, building this impenetrable fortress of talent layer by layer, until you are absolutely certain that this is the year. But listen, in the National Football League, a meticulously built fortress can develop a massive crack overnight. And for the 2026 New York Jets, that crack just appeared out of nowhere, and it literally threatens to bring the entire season crashing down before the first snap is even played.
So the question we have to ask ourselves today is, can a championship-caliber roster survive a catastrophic offseason? Welcome to NFL Nexus. I'm your host, and today we are breaking down one of the most intense, rapidly developing situations in the entire league right now.
Before we unravel this massive franchise-defining crisis, make sure you subscribe to NFL Nexus, like this explainer, and comment your thoughts below. We are diving deep into the absolute smallest details of this roster today, so please support the channel by becoming a member. It really helps us keep this premium deep dive content coming your way. Okay, let's get into it.
Section 1. A championship roster built.
Okay, let's dive into this. Because to truly understand the sheer gravity of the crisis unfolding in New York right now, you really have to look at the absolute masterpiece that General Manager Darren Moogie and this front office assembled. With the influx of talent on this roster, there is zero excuse for the Jets to be anything but elite in 2026. Let's look at the offensive blueprint. Remember last year? The Jets' passing offense was dead last in the league, 32nd overall, averaging a dismal 140.3 yards per game and 19th in scoring with just 22.3 points per game. Well, enter Frank Reich. Coming off a stint as the head coach at Stanford University, Reich is stepping in as the new offensive coordinator replacing Tanner Engstrand. And Reich brings a massive shift in philosophy. He is installing a player-empowered, multiple-scheme offense that is heavily focused on 12 personnel. And listen, this system is already drawing rave reviews, particularly from star wide receiver Garrett Wilson. Just look at the weapons Reich has at his disposal here. We're talking about a budding dynamic receiver room featuring Wilson, Adonai Mitchell, and rookie Omar Cooper Jr., with Isaiah Williams really establishing himself as a solid WR4. And in that absolutely critical 12 personnel package, Reich has a dynamic tight end tandem. You've got Kenyon Sadiq and Mason Taylor taking the primary reps, while Jeremy Ruckert, with his deep system experience and durability, projects to edge out Woods for the TE3 spot. This is a unit completely designed from the ground up to overwhelm opposing defenses.
And grounding that entire aerial assault is this number right here, 1,000. That is the rushing yardage Breece Hall eclipsed last season. It was his first 1,000-yard campaign, which earned him a massive, well-deserved extension this past May. But the Jets didn't just stop there. The depth behind him is frankly ferocious. You have Isaiah Davis, who operates as a highly formidable checkdown option while averaging a super efficient 5.6 yards per carry. Then, you have Braylon Allen. He's returning from an ACL sprain last season, and he's now weighing in at a bruising 250 pounds. He's feeling fully healthy and looking incredibly dominant out there. And to pave the way for these guys, the offensive line depth is quietly formidable. You've got Okafor and Mitchell as really solid fill-in tackles, and rookie interior lineman Cooper showing immense collegiate upside to push veterans like Young. Every single inch of this offense has been heavily fortified.
And this brilliantly illustrates the terrifying reality of the other side of the ball. Head coach Aaron Glenn is actually taking over the defensive play calling himself this year, running a multiple-scheme defense that is tailored perfectly to this specific personnel. Look at this front. On the edge, Will McDonald IV is looking to rebound from a slight dip. He had 8 sacks last year, down from 10.5 the year prior. But he's paired with the highly anticipated rookie David Bailey. Inside, they addressed a massive, glaring weakness in their run defense by acquiring the literal mountain that is T'Vondre Sweat from the Tennessee Titans. He pairs up with David Onyemata and rotational pieces like Briggs, who quietly logged 28 pressures and 4 sacks last year. And at linebacker, the 37-year-old ageless wonder himself, Demario Davis, returns to anchor the middle alongside Jamian Sherwood, with Mayagoa currently leading the fierce, highly competitive battle for the LB3 role after a standout minicamp.
But the most drastic, absolutely necessary overhaul came in the secondary. Look at the reality of 2025 on the left side there. 0 interceptions. 0. Not one single pick. That is an absolutely unacceptable statistic for a championship-level defense. So, to fix it, the Jets completely revamped the room. They brought in Nahshon Wright to start on the outside alongside Stevens, with Thomas backing them up. You've got rookie D'Angelo Pons actively snatching the starting nickel role from Brownlee. But the absolute crown jewel of this unit is at safety. The Jets went out and acquired Minkah Fitzpatrick. And opposite him, Veteran Andre Cisco is fighting off a massive challenge to keep his starting role, fending off Belton, who, by the way, is coming off a staggering 120 tackle season with the Giants. This new secondary, it is built specifically to take the ball away.
And we can't forget, even the special teams unit has been constructed to absolutely dominate. The Jets are looking to replace the legendary consistency of Nick Folk. So right now they have an intense kicking battle between all-pro caliber Jason Sanders, who boasts an 84.6% career accuracy, and Cade York, sitting at 73.3%. But the return game, listen, it is the best in the NFL, period. Kenen Wong-Wu leads all active NFL players with 29.7 yards per kick return, actually bringing one all the way back for a touchdown last year. Isaiah Williams ranks third in the league with 14.1 yards per punt return, scoring twice himself. Together, these two led the Jets to the #1 overall rank in yards per kick return in 2025. They even went ahead and upgraded at long snapper, bringing in the 25-year-old Grimes to replace the 9-year veteran Thomas. Every tiny detail, every single position on this roster has been meticulously optimized for a run.
Section 2. The quarterback crisis.
But in the NFL, a Ferrari without an engine is really just an incredibly expensive piece of metal sitting useless in the driveway. And right now, the New York Jets are staring down the barrel of a terrifying reality. Let's trace the timeline of this Geno Smith saga. Earlier this offseason, the Jets made what they thought was a calculated risk. They traded with the Las Vegas Raiders to bring Geno Smith back for a second stint in New York. It was a gamble for sure. Last year in Vegas, his play was highly inconsistent. He completed 67.4% of his passes for just over 3,000 yards, throwing 19 touchdowns, but pairing that with a really glaring 17 interceptions. Still, the Jets fully believed Frank Reich's system could maximize his veteran ability. But then, on a quiet Sunday in Davie, Florida, a 911 call was placed. Smith was accused of assaulting a woman who claimed to be his ex-girlfriend. And suddenly, in the blink of an eye, the football stats just didn't matter anymore.
Before these allegations even surfaced, Smith spoke with NFL Network, and looking back at his words now, they carry a chilling, bitter irony. He said, complete full circle moment, back to where it all began. I'm excited to connect with my new teammates and coaches and everyone in the building, as well as build a new relationship with the fan base and community. The optimism was totally palpable. He was supposed to be the veteran, stabilizing force for a roster ready to win a Super Bowl right now. Instead, that optimism, it just evaporated overnight.
This is the official statement provided to ESPN's Rich Chimney by the Davie police spokesperson. We were informed Monday evening that during review, it was determined that this case is being further investigated by detectives. It is active, and we cannot release any additional information at this time. Active. Investigated by detectives. Listen, those words are an absolute nightmare for any NFL front office holding Super Bowl aspirations. The legal process is entirely out of the team's hands, but the clock constantly ticking down to week 1, it is deafening.
Section 3. Financial reality and fan backlash.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how quickly the conversation is turned from legal proceedings to cold, hard, unforgiving business mathematics. The Jets have to make a decision, and they have to make it fast. When General Manager Darren Mogi looks at Geno Smith's contract, this is the number staring right back at him. $3.3 million. Smith is only under contract for this upcoming 2026 season. If the Jets decide that this active police investigation is simply too much of a distraction for a team trying to win a championship right now, cutting him is financially painless. I mean, $3.3 million in dead cap, that is literal pocket change in the modern NFL. There are no massive multi-year guarantees tying Smith to this roster. The financial hurdle to completely severing ties before training camp begins is practically non-existent.
And the court of public opinion? It has already delivered its harsh, immediate verdict. The fan base is actively weighing Geno's 19-touchdown, 17-interception output against the sheer severity of these off-field allegations, and their patience is absolutely at zero. One fan perfectly encapsulated the ruthless nature of the league, writing, "The Jets know this is Geno Smith, right? Just cut the guy and move on. If he had Mahomes or Allen talent, he's innocent until proven guilty. But since he doesn't, he's not worth the headache." It is a stark, brutal assessment of exactly how talent often dictates tolerance in professional sports.
The external pressure mounting on the organization is growing by the second. Another fan reacted with sheer exhaustion, posting, "Geno Smith back with the Jets, and of course the nightmare begins. Just cut him and play Cade Klubnik." It sounds so incredibly simple, doesn't it? Just cut the veteran, rip the Band-Aid off, and hand the keys over to the backup. But this right here, this is exactly where the Jets' championship dreams threaten to unravel completely.
Section 4. The next man up.
Because if Darren Mogi pulls the trigger and actually cuts Geno Smith mere weeks before training camp, he plunges the franchise into the deepest, darkest quarterback void imaginable. Look at the grim reality of the next man up. So the crucial point is, neither of these backup options are anywhere near ready to lead a team with Super Bowl aspirations. Entering OTAs, Coach Glynn touted Bailey Zappi as the clear QB2, but throughout the offseason program, Zappi has done absolutely nothing to firmly secure that job. He hasn't taken command of the huddle, he has not cemented himself as a reliable safety net. And what about Cade Klubnik, the player all those fans are clamoring for? Well, his offseason has been a bit of a disaster. He was completely sidelined for mandatory minicamp, and before that, his reps in OTAs were widely described as shaky. He isn't even properly challenging Zappi for the backup role, let alone preparing to take over a highly complex, Frank Reich-designed offense.
Look closely at the reality of this entire depth chart. This is the paralyzing dilemma the front office is staring down right now. You have your QB1 under an active police investigation for battery. Your QB2, Bailey Zappi, is totally unsecured and inspiring very little confidence. Your QB3, Cade Klubnik, is injured, shaky, and missing critical developmental reps. And your QB4, Anthony Cook, he was a complete non-factor in OTAs. There is no viable immediate replacement in this building. If Geno Smith is cut or placed on the commissioner's exempt list, who takes the snap on opening day? Who is going to maximize a talent like Garrett Wilson? Who sustains those long drives to keep that elite, revamped defense fresh?
Section 5. A franchise-defining decision.
The New York Jets are standing right on the edge of a precipice. The decisions made in the next few weeks, they will forever alter the trajectory of the 2026 season and potentially the legacies of everyone sitting in that front office. The ticking clock is absolutely deafening. Rookies report for training camp in late July, as early as July 21st for some teams. Veterans follow just days later. The Jets have reportedly been in constant contact with the NFL since the allegations surfaced, trying to navigate this delicate, highly explosive situation. Every single day that passes without a resolution is a day of distraction. It's a day Frank Reich cannot fully implement his 12-personnel system. It's a day the defense starts wondering if they're going to have to pitch shutouts just to win football games.
So we leave you with this final burning question. When the dust finally settles on this catastrophic offseason, who will be under center for the New York Jets in Week 1? Do they try to weather the storm with Smith? Do they ride with Zappa? Or is a massive desperation trade on the horizon? Let me know exactly what you think Darren Mogi should do down in the comments below. If you want to stay ahead of every single update on this crisis as it unfolds, hit that subscribe button for NFL Nexus. Leave a like on this explainer, and seriously consider becoming a channel member to support the most detailed explainer breakdowns on the internet. We'll be watching this situation very, very closely. See you next time.